Hey guys! Okay, so to get started, I'm using my Scotch tape right underneath of my lash line, and this is just going to help us get a very clean look with our eyeshadow and eyeliner. I like doing this just because I think it makes everything faster, cleaner, and easier, so that's what I'm doing. To get started, I'm using the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in NC15. I'm just applying that all over my lid with my Beauty Blender just to give me a nice clean base for all of the eyeshadows that I'm going to put on top. So for the first eyeshadow, I'm using Makeup Geek Peach Smoothie, and I'm using this on a Mirabella brush that I got in my Ipsy bag, so it doesn't have a name on it. Maybe it did at one point, but it doesn't now. And I'm just blending this all over the crease as my first transition color. For the second transition color, I'm using Makeup Geek's Cocoa Bear, and this is the warm orangey shade that I want to show through all of the other eyeshadows when I'm done. So as you can see, I'm just blending this, mostly keeping it in the outer corner, but I do want some of this in the inner corner because I don't want it to be totally bare on the inner corner. I do want some depth in the crease, but I am keeping this pretty low in the crease. I used Peach Smoothie to go up a little bit higher, so we're kind of layering Peach Smoothie and then Cocoa Bear right on top of it and keeping that a little bit lower. So this is the Morphe G24 brush, and this is clean right now as I'm using it, and I'm just using it to blend in all of those shadows just because this brush is so much fluffier. It looks a million times better. This is the Makeup Geek Cherry Cola. This is my favorite eyeshadow of all time right now. You have no idea. It's so pretty. So I'm using that G24 brush to blend that into the crease and outer corner. So this is like the perfect maroon, burgundy, red color, and it's warm. I love it. It's so pretty. So I put that in the outer corner and blend it out, and then I layer it on some more, and then I blend it out. And I do that a couple of times until I'm happy with how dark and deep it looks. And I just think it looks so pretty. This is like my favorite color ever. So for a little bit more of that red warm color, I'm using this Makeup Forever. It doesn't have a name on it, it just has a number. It's the M-846. These might have names on them on their website now, but all I have is the number. So I think they must still have the names and the number. I'm going mostly over Cherry Cola with this, but not completely. I'm keeping this a little bit closer towards the inner corner than I did Cherry Cola. Like Cherry Cola is closer on the outside, and this color is closer on the inside. So for the lid, I'm using Makeup Geek's Foiled Eyeshadow in Starry Eyed, and in my opinion, this is the most neutral shimmer eyeshadow ever for the lid. I've never found one that I liked more, and I've tried a ton of them, so this one is my absolute favorite. I'm just using that on a synthetic brush that I've spritzed with my setting spray, and this one is by Sephora. It's a super old brush. I think it came in a pack years ago. So this G24 brush is clean, and I'm just blending those together so we don't have any harsh lines, because with the shimmer it can look kind of harsh until you blend out the edges a little bit. So for my liner, I am just using my regular tried and true Sigma E65 brush with the Maybelline gel liner in Blackest Black, and I've tried a million gel liners, and this one is my favorite. I really think the Tarte gel liner Tartiest, I love the consistency of that one, but I think that the Maybelline one is still blacker, which amazes me since the Maybelline is a drugstore one. I do not go super in depth with my eyeliner. I'm keeping it pretty basic winged eyeliner in my opinion, but I have had a lot of requests to do eyeliner videos or lash videos. So if you want to see an entire winged liner and lash video, please let me know and I can do that. So I'm just going to be peeling off the Scotch tape, and you can see how nice and clean my liner and shadows look. I just think it looks so much better when I do it this way. So I'm putting on my lashes, and these are the Grand Glamour lashes by Vegas Nay. She created them with Eyelure, and you can find them at Ulta. I'm putting a little bit of that gel liner on top of the lash line to kind of hide it, because it can look kind of obvious after they've been worn a couple times, and I've worn these a bunch. So this is the Smashbox Full Exposure mascara. This is the trial size. I'm just now trying this for the first time, and I am pretty impressed. I really like it. But I'm not a huge fan of using expensive mascaras when I'm already going to wear false lashes anyway. So this is the Makeup Forever Step 1. This is the mattifying, I believe, primer. And this one is not, I don't think this is reserved for oily skin. I think that this works for everybody. You can have oily skin, you can have dry skin. I just think it makes everybody look airbrushed. This is the L'Oreal Lumi Cushion, the newest one that just came out, and I could not get a good shot of this at all to save my life because it's so shiny and pretty. But this is an N2. I'm using my Morphe M439 blush brush, to blend this out. And although I love this brush for most foundations, I don't know if I like it for this foundation. Just because I feel like it really shears this one out, and I'm used to a heavier, fuller coverage foundation. So I end up going in with my Beauty Blender just because I felt like that gave me better coverage, and I felt like it held true to the luminosity of this foundation a little bit better. So if you do try this foundation, I would try it with a Beauty Blender or any other makeup sponge. That would probably be your best bet in my opinion. So I'm going in with my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, and I'm just using that in underneath of my eyes, and I'm not going super full heavy on this concealer since I am going to be baking in this video, and that adds a little bit of coverage anyway. So I'm just doing this under my eyes, on my chin, along the bridge of my nose, and around my nose, and onto my forehead, just to balance out the highlight. And that seems to be my trouble areas. That's where I get breakouts the most. That's where I have the most acne scarring. So I want more of the coverage to be in those areas. So this is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Stick Foundation in Y505, and I'm using this as my contour. So I am just taking a pointed synthetic brush to kind of place this in all the areas that I want to contour. And since this is just step 1 of my contour, I'm not going super crazy or anything like that, and I'm just blending it out with my Beauty Blender. I am going to be going in with a powder contour, so this is just kind of to intensify the final contour, I guess. I'm just setting my whole face with my Makeup Forever setting powder in the Morphe Brush E1, and I'm doing a pretty light setting because I do like the luminosity of this foundation and I don't want to completely cover that up. So I'm just using my Anastasia banana powder to set my concealer with my M438 brush by Morphe. I'm just setting everything underneath of my eyes to give myself a very full, clean look. For my brows, like always, I'm going to be skipping through this. Not necessarily skipping, but speeding through this because I do have a brow video on my channel. So if you're interested in how I do my brows, then you can just go to my channel and see. Although I think I'm going to be doing an updated one soon just because I feel like my old video is not exactly how I do them anymore. And ta-da, brows. Okay, so I'm using my Morphe E4 brush with the Morphe contour palette, or bronzer palette, I think it might be called. It's the 9BZ palette, and I'm just using a couple of the warmer shades with my E4 brush and this little smudgy brush to do my contouring. Now, I'm not being super precise with my contouring, but that's also because I'm going to be going in and baking later, so that helps a little bit. If you guys want an updated highlight and contour routine, please let me know because I get a lot of questions about it, but I'm not sure if I should bother filming one. So to do the baking, I'm just using my G30 brush by Morphe, which is a very flat condensed brush, and I'm just using a Graftobian setting powder. This isn't a foundation powder, it's just a regular setting powder. So it adds some coverage, but not like a full coverage powder foundation does. So I'm just using this underneath of my contour and in the highlighted areas that I want to keep very highlighted and very clean. And I'm just letting this sit for just as long as it takes me to do it. So as you can see, it's pretty simple. You just let it sit for a minute, and I'm telling you, this makes my foundation and contour last so much longer and look a million times better. So I'm just using my Makeup Forever 134 brush and I'm kind of just dusting that off completely. The longer you let it sit, the more it's going to set into your foundation. So I don't let it sit very long because I'm already pretty pale, so I don't really need any extra paleness. But as you can see, it really cleans up the contour, and I just think it looks so much better. I just love it. It looks so much better, especially if you're doing a dramatic eye makeup look. It looks better when you add the baking and everything else. So I'm just going in with this same E4 brush by Morphe, and I'm using their blush palette, a couple of their warmer shades from their blush palette, and I'm just dusting that all over the apples of my cheeks. Now for my Becca Champagne Glow Palette by Jaclyn Hill, I'm mixing Pearl and Champagne Pop together with my Morphe, I think it's 4501? No, M501, that's what it's called. And I'm just putting my, as you can see, I sped through this, but I like go way overboard with my highlight. But seriously, I love the highlight, and I think it makes the shimmery warm look so much better. It's okay to pack on your highlight. It's gorgeous. So I'm just using the Cherry Cola by Makeup Geek and that red Makeup Forever shade on my M432 brush by Morphe, and I'm just packing that right underneath of my eye. I really want this to show through because I love how this color looks. So I'm just using, I think it's my M321 brush by Morphe, I believe. If not, I'll leave a link in the description box below of all of the brushes that I use, and I'm just blending that all out. So here's the fun part, the glitter. I'm using my Ben Nye glitter glue and my BH Cosmetics gold glitter. So I just barely tap my E65 brush into the glitter glue, and then I tap it in the glitter. So it's not too much glitter glue. It doesn't hurt my eyes. I don't have any issues with it. But it's just enough to set the glitter onto my eyes. And I'm telling you, this stuff lasts forever. I don't have any fallout with my glitter, especially after I set it with my setting spray. It's amazing. So I'm just using that same mascara to put mascara on my lower lashes. And this part gets cut, but I did not realize that my camera stopped recording. But I'm using my MAC Whirl lip pencil, and I'm just lining my lips, and I'm evening out my top lip because my top lip is super crazy and weird. But I'm just using this to line my lips, and unfortunately the part that gets cut is my lipsticks that I use. But I use ColourPop Cosmetics Clueless on the outer corner and Midi towards the center of the lips. So as you can see me doing Clueless, but you totally miss Midi, unfortunately. But just to give that kind of ombre lip effect. And yeah, nope, ready, and bye. So I'm just using my Skindinavia Bridal Setting Spray, and that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching.